What's good, everybody? Welcome into Prime Time Early Edge. Can you believe it? Week 8 of the National Football League kicks off tonight. And I don't want to hear, oh, it's a crappy game or it's two teams not playing well. We don't talk like that here. This is a game that means a lot. In the NFC, the Bucs come in 3-3. In the AFC, the Bills come in 4-3. But they've got work to do. They're coming off a loss to the Patriots. They should have lost to the Giants. They lost to the Jags before that. But yet tonight, this thing has swelled in some places to 10. It's been 9.5, 10 all day. So what do I do when we start our NFL week? I bring in my absolute very best. Bring in the stars of the show because you know them and you love them. And on a Thursday night, we don't go 5 wide. No. We go 6 wide. The counselor is here. Proppy is here. My 5-tool player. AB is here. EC, barely here. And Coach Phil is here as well. Now, before we get started, last week, if you're a SportsLine member, then you knew the hottest member of my crew was that man up there in the right-hand corner, 13-3. So, Proppy, you, sir, tonight, get our 15 seconds.
Thank you very much, Coach. And gentlemen, it's great to see you all. Coach, I did want to first and foremost mention that you look absolutely fantastic rocking that early edge gear. But I would like to give a shout out to two very special people. They are both SportsLine subscribers, big fans of the show. One, a childhood friend of mine, TJ. TJ, what's up, man? Go Birds. I know the Phillies lost. That's tough, but we move on. And I also wanted to give out a shout out to my buddy, Jason, who is also a huge SportsLine and early edge fan. Both of these guys are the best, Coach. Hope you guys are enjoying the show.
All right, boys, welcome to the show. Everybody you're watching with, thank you very, very much. Now, for those of you watching in the chat, I need you to hit that like button for me. It's very, very important. It helps the show grow. Now, Robert in the chat says this game means a lot because of all the, say it with me, Proppy, opportunities. Ah, they know it. There it is. So let's jump right in. Here are the numbers for tonight. 9.5. The total 43. The Buccaneers, you want to have some guts and play them on the money line? Plus 375. Let's go Buccaneers. Keys to the game. Of course, we start with our man, Coach Phil.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 3-3. All right, going on the road to play the 4-3 Buffalo Bills. So the first key to the game is the Bucs must play more consistently on offense. They have to have a better run game. They're 29th in the league with only 78 yards per game. That'll really put a lot of pressure on Baker on the road against his Buffalo Bills defense. So they have to run the ball better. When Baker goes, so don't the Bucs. When he has a QBR of 90 or more, they're 3-0. When they're 90, less than 90, they're 0-3. So this team is really going the way that Baker Mayfield brings them. All right, they need to score more than 17 points, which is what they're averaging, which is 26th in the NFL if they want to go on the road and beat the Bills. The second key to the game would be the Bucs defense needs to be effectively pressuring Josh Allen. All right, I mean effective pressure. So they're blitzing at a rate of 41%, but they only have 16 sacks on the year, which is 15. So you'd like to see that number be a little bit higher. The really interesting thing is Josh Allen versus the blitz has 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 114 QBR versus pressure this year. So that'll be an interesting battle to watch. The Bucs, the most impressive thing about what they do is they take the football away. They have 13 takeaways. That's third in the NFL. If they can continue to do that, that will help bode well for an upset on the road.
And that's exactly what the Bills have been doing this entire season, Phil, which is why they are 4-3. Great keys to the game. We'll get back to Phil in a second for the Bills side of things. But, Counselor, I got to come to you first because I'm staring at 2 plays, and they're both on the Buccaneers side. And with Baker Mayfield at the helm this year, they've looked manageable. What do you like tonight?
Manageable indeed. Yeah, this is one of those where I have a lot of things that are working for me with a Baker over, not with his yards, but with his pass completions. I have Baker over 21.5 completions at minus 120. This is one of those situations where we have a negative game script. We have a good pass rush by the Bills. Listen, this defense is pretty bad right now, but they do create a pass rush. That's actually a good thing for the completions. I expect Baker Mayfield to get the ball out of his hands very quickly. What does that actually mean? It means short area throws, more reliable throws to your Rashad Whites, to your Chris Godwins, your Kate Ottens, maybe a little Mike Evans, Trey Palmer in there too. But especially in this negative game script and with that pass rush and knowing that it's going to be a relatively inefficient running game, Rashad White averaging 3.2 yards per carry, that's not going to get it done, especially with Ed Oliver back for the Buffalo Bills. Long story short, he's going to have to chuck it around. And I think 21.5 is very, very doable here. especially since I think in the times where Baker has not gotten this, it's because they've lacked time of possession. I think time of possession is going to be at least relatively even in this game. My next play, this one's kind of a shot in the dark, or at least it'll seem like one. I've got Trey Palmer, the wide receiver 3 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I've got him over 16.5 receiving yards. Some sites aren't going to allow you to ladder this, but this is one of those plays. This is boom or bust, but if it's boom, it's going to be way over 16.5. So I think I would ladder this 25 plus, 50 plus, if you can get it even more, because unrealized air yards are the name of the game for Trey Palmer. Baker Mayfield has missed him on some long balls over the last couple of games. He can get open. He's got 4.33 speed. He's a rookie out of Nebraska. His contested catches is something I really like about him too. Again, with Chris Godwin kind of banged up, maybe Trey Palmer got a few reps in practice or a few more reps with the number 1 team. Either way, on 3 wide receiver sets, Trey Palmer is going to be on the field. Again, he might not get any catches, but I'll say this, his catch number is 1.5 and it's juiced to the over. If he gets 2 catches, he's definitely hitting the 16.5 and he might get it on 1 catch. It's a chance, but give me the over of Trey Palmer, 16.5 yards.
Sometimes in life, you got to take chances, see it. You know what I mean? You got to take chances sometimes. And by the way, if you were wondering if the Bucs struggled tonight offensively as far as the score is concerned, last week they scored 13 points. That's it. Baker had 27 completions. I'm just saying. They throw short and often and complete a lot. Love that play. See you. Thank you very much. Now, EC, let me come over to you because you got one play on the Bucs side, and it's the number 1 receiver. And when he gets ticked off, he normally plays pretty well. Who am I talking about?
You are talking about Mike Evans, coach. He has a 39% air yard share, which is 13th in the NFL. He's 8th in yards per route run, and he has 8 or 10 targets, not 9, in 5 of 6 games this season. He has 60 or more yards in 4 of 6. Game flow, as we will discuss and have discussed, should be in his favor. And finally, the Bills have surrendered 5 wide receivers over 60 yards in the last 3 weeks. Mike Evans, over 58.5 receiving yards. I feel great about it tonight. But then again, coach, I've been on a little bit of a cooler tonight. Maybe we turn it around and I hit a gem. What do you think?
Well, I think we can turn it around. The gym, I'm not ever going to root for you on that. But for you to turn it around, hey, that's why you got the crew to pick you up. The crew's here to pick you up. By the way, Matt says, we take chances every day, coach. We are bettors. That's very true, Matt. That's very, very true. Now, that's the number 1 receiver on the left side. Now, the guy on the right side is also very, very good. And Proppy, let me come to you for your one Bucs play. Who do you like on the other side?
Yeah, I like Chris Godwin, coach. I'm going to go over 55.5 receiving yards. EC mentioned Mike Evans being the number 1 wide receiver, but we've seen a bit of a shift over the last 3 weeks. Over the last 3 weeks, Godwin is averaging 90 receiving yards per game. He's had double-digit targets in 2 of the 3 games. He's averaging 10 targets per game, running very, very valuable routes out of the slot, also getting targeted downfield. I think this prop pairs very nicely with Sia's Baker attempts, because we're going to see some negative game script that's going to result in Tampa Bay having to air the ball out quite a bit. I expect Godwin and Mike Evans to be the 2 biggest beneficiaries of that. Also, Buffalo's back end, they have experienced some injuries. They're not nearly as healthy as they were early in the season. We've also seen opposing wide receivers have a lot of success against Buffalo, especially recently. We know the Bucs also can't run the football whatsoever. So I expect a lot of passing volume. I like Sia's prop, and I expect Chris Godwin and Mike Evans to handle the bulk of that work. I think Chris Godwin is easily going to eclipse 55 receiving yards tonight.
Last week, 6 for 82 for Mike Evans. For Chris Godwin, 6 for 66. They both can get it done in the same game. And tonight, we believe they'll both go over 60 yards. Proppy, thank you very much. Hang tight. All right, Coach Phil, I got to come right back to you. Let's go to the Buffalo Bills, keys to the game.
Well, it's a very simple key. The first one is stop turning the football over and you'll win the football game. They're the better football team, and if they can possess the ball and execute an offense, they will win. But the problem is Josh Allen has thrown 3 interceptions in the last 3 games, 1 in each game. He's also had a sub-91 rating in the past 2 games. All right, in Buffalo, they have 11 turnovers, 7 INTs, and 4 fumbles. That's an extremely uncharacteristic trait of a Sean McDermott coach football team. It's just the truth. Usually they possess the football, so they're looking to turn that around tonight. The second thing is this defense needs to impose their will on Baker Mayfield. They have to stop the run. They're 24th in the league, which, again, is uncharacteristic, and they're allowing 128 yards per game. Last week versus Mac Jones, he went off. He had 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, 127 QBR, and he's been struggling. So this defense has to reel it in. The Bills are also allowing 96.6 rating to the receivers, so that speaks to the 2 receiver plays that we earlier talked about in this broadcast. So the reality is if Buffalo can stop the outside receivers and protect the football, they should win.
The chat says, hey, Phil, that makes way too much sense. That's why we have the man here. That's why we have him here. Now, Proppy, I'm coming back over to you because if the Bills are going to do something tonight, I don't know what Josh Allen has got to do or needs to do, but you have one play with him and then another one as well. Give me your 2.
Yeah, it's an interesting look, Coach. I'm going to go with Josh Allen under 34.5 passing attempts. There is a stark contrast between Josh Allen's attempts in games that Buffalo has won versus games that Buffalo has lost. He averages less than 31 passing attempts in Buffalo victories over the last 2.5 seasons. There is an even further contrast if we're looking at when Bills have won those games by at least 6 points. Obviously, 9 or 10-point favorites tonight. That certainly could be in play here. When the Bills have won by a minimum of 6 points, he has come under on 13 of his previous 15 games dating back to last year, averaging only 29 attempts per game in those Buffalo victories. So considering Buffalo's a significant favorite tonight, I really think Josh Allen, it's going to be hard pressed for him to throw more than 35 passing attempts. And then I got kind of an interesting prop. It's James Cook to lead the game, all eligible players in rushing yards. I love this spot. I love James Cook. To me, he's one of the more talented, explosive running backs in the NFL, coming off that good game last week against New England. Just really not a lot of competition, in my opinion. Looking at Rashad White, running back for Tampa Bay, has been the least efficient starting running back in the NFL this season. So not really much competition there. Josh Allen is a bit banged up. He's not rushing nearly as effectively or as much as he was in previous years. Considering the odds here are plus 120, I think James Cook has a fantastic shot to lead all players tonight in rushing yards. Added bonuses, Vita Vea, the Bucs run plugger, and just one of their best interior, if not their best interior lineman, is out for tonight's game, which is a boost as well to James Cook's matchup. So love him. I also like his rushing prop, but considering we're getting this at plus 120, I prefer this look. However, if you don't have access to this is on some books only, I would go over on his rushing line as well,
which is currently right around 50.5 or 51, depending on your book. And currently the odds that we use, of course, for BetMGM. Now, Urban in the chat, interesting question. He says, what about Gabe Davis over 19.5 longest reception? Interesting. EC?
Yeah, I think that's a great one, Urban. I'm going to roll with that as my second play tonight. A 14% target share and 26% air yard share for Gabe Davis. But against zone defense, which Tampa Bay primarily plays, he gets about a 15% first read share. If Josh Allen is going to lift the lid off this defense, this is the guy. He's over this number in 5 of 7 games, but not the last 2. I just wasn't confident in his reception total. I think it was like 3.5. His receiving yards, 40.5. I would probably lean towards that, but I feel most confident that he can get at least a 20-yard catch at minus 120. Coach, this will turn things around. Let's go, Gabe Davis.
You know what's going to happen, EC.
19-yard catch, I know.
19-yard reception.
Oh, yeah. 100%. He'll get like 5 of them. My luck. He'll get 5 of them. We know it. Yeah, we know.
By the way, the chat's having a very spirited debate on who is loved more and who they want to get into the club first, Coach Phil or EC. Very interesting debate. But while we played that into the chat this morning, AB, and I hate to bring this to light because I know you were in bed. You had a late night last night. But I asked Buckets. I said, hey, do you like anything in the no-fly zone this morning? He says, Coach. I decided not to make the graphic today because I didn't like either one of these quarterbacks to throw the INT. Didn't even know the names of the quarterbacks in the games tonight. Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen. but he was scared of the no-fly zone, and that's why they're putting it in the chat. Are you, AB, scared of the no-fly zone?
Coach, you could have ended that sentence or question with, are you scared? And that's a hell no, we're not scared. Now, look, I'll tell you what. It's interesting we brought that up because I've added a new wrinkle to the no-fly zone. I have taken the SportsLine simulations 10,000 times, and we are giving the exact percentage that each quarterback will throw in interception tonight. So let's start with Baker Mayfield. Absolutely. Okay. And I'll tell you why we're not scared. Buckets, you messed up, buddy. This is why you messed up. First off, take a look at Baker. If you are new here to the no-fly zone, okay, top left is the Bills secondary completion percentage rankings across the NFL. You see right under it, interception simulations. 10,000 times Baker's throwing a pick 85% of the time, okay? Now, bottom left, Baker's INT splits. I want you to pay attention to something, and for Josh Allen, look at that. 75% of Baker's interceptions this year have been on second down. But look at the red zone, TD INT ratio, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks. Our man's been perfect. So you look on the right side, we don't have a ton of data for Baker with the Bucs. So this is basically an amalgam of Baker Mayfield, a single game with Tampa Bay based on his averages. And Coach, you nailed it. Short passes, safe completions. Look at that. Not a bad split there. He's usually good. 1 TD, 1 interception. That's where Baker lives. So his trouble spots are going to be short left because the Bills lock that down. And anything in the middle to where Coach Phil was talking about getting pressured and imposing their will, you put one up. He doesn't throw there often when it's safe. When it's not safe, that could be bad. Now, let's flip it over to Josh Allen, and we'll get a look here. So, same deal. Josh Allen, 93% to throw in interception tonight. Now, look at his interception splits. 57.1% of his picks have come playing ahead. Red zone, TD, INT. Look at that. 12 touchdown passes, 0 INTs. Both of these quarterbacks are perfect in the red zone. And you know what? That doesn't last very long. Somebody's going to put one up, and it's going to happen. You take a look at Josh Allen again, 70% completion percentage this year, 100.7 passer rating, 15 TDs, 7 INTs. Where he's going to get in trouble, throwing deep right and across the middle, as Coach Phil alluded to, if they get pressure on Josh. So we've got 85% for Baker to throw a pick, 93% for Josh Allen to throw a pick, and I will bring up my picks, so to say, right here. Let me bring everybody back up, and we're going to keep it simple tonight. 1, Bucs Bills over 2.5 turnovers, minus 115. Number 2, the big one, Josh Allen over 23.5 rushing yards. Props nailed it in regards to the Bills and this offense. Josh Allen, when he's throwing 40 times a game, it's not good. Now, every radio station, every TV, anything that you read, see, whatever, hear, everybody's asking the same question. What's wrong with the Bills? What's wrong with the Bills? Look, McDermott knows it. We know it. Josh Allen, when he runs the football, is what sparks this offense. They haven't been doing it, mostly because he's been injured, and he got injured last year. They don't want to have to do it, but you're going to have to do it. That's what this offense is. He is the key to it. So we're going to take Josh Allen over 23.5 rushing yards. He might not have a ton of runs, but he could knock this out in 1, 2, and get out of there. So, yeah, we're going to roll those 2.
I love all that. EC, Counselor, Proppy, be ready. I'm coming at you guys with a bunch of stuff. But, Coach Phil, give me your reaction to the no-fly zone.
I will. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the rushing with Josh, just off the bat. We talk about this every week. If a pass rush has the ability to get a quarterback off the spot and the quarterback has the ability to run the football, then look at the rushing numbers and just do with it what you will. But just understand the rush as far as them getting to the quarterback and then knocking off the spot. And then guys in this league, certain quarterbacks can escape very easily and pick up 25 yards. Let's go to Baker.
I was just letting that marinate for a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. But do you know what I'm saying, AB?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And that's exactly why, right? Like, you look at this rush, even without Vita Vea, like, I completely agree. And that's why I like it, because if they get pressure, especially up the middle pressure, like they used to do to Tom Brady. Now, Brady can't run, but Josh Allen certainly can. And with a quarterback running, you have an extra blocker. i.e., you're going to, have to call that run play. But still, yeah, man, I'm with you 100%. That's why I like it tonight.
And not having Vita Vea is going to help the rushing totals that prop here I talked about earlier, just so we are clear with that. But looking at Baker, what they've tried to do is protect him, keep him upright, get the ball out of his hand quickly, but it's still Baker Mayfield. You can see his completion percentage is a little less than Josh's, and he's a shorter player. I always talk about getting balls batted every week. And then the biggest thing for me, where you can see a ball in jeopardy, is if you're going to push it down the field to those two studs on the outside that we already talked about, guess who's back there? Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer back there. So those two safeties will take the ball away from you. So it's more about the defensive personnel in the Bills secondary than it is necessarily about the diminishing abilities of Baker to throw footballs.
Hey, and real quick. No, I wanted to say before you jump over to Josh Allen, I think you just nailed it right there. For everyone tuning in to watch this game, all right, take a look at Baker right here. Just notice and pay attention to him throwing to his left side and him throwing to his right side. Just kind of keep a count and watch how that goes, because the Bills defense is going to try to shut down half of the field on them and see how they go about it. So yeah, keep going, Coach.
All right.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Going to Josh. I'll be quick with Josh. Where he gets himself in trouble, where he tries to fit balls where they're not supposed to be on particular downs, and he gets aggressive, or he is flush from the pocket, and instead of running the ball like he did when his first 5 years in the league, he forces something back across his body. And in general, I do believe this season defensive backs are taking the ball away with their hands at a higher rate than they did a year ago. I just see an increased level of DBs playing with their hands at the catch point.
I hope you all at home understand that you better have your paper, you better have your pen. This is not just about tonight. When you watch the Bills play future, Bucs in the future, use this information. They take a lot of time, and you can use it in another game. That's what this business is truly all about. Now, there's a lot of different kind of bets at BetMGM that really we don't talk about a lot. Counselor, I'm going to start with you. And in a lot of instances, you can bet just like what Alex did, where you can bet a guy to lead in rushing or a quarterback against the quarterback yardage-wise. Tonight, that's what I want to ask you about. Baker's at 227. Josh is at 263. You can't really compare the two when it comes to the yardage, but do you like either one of those, either the over or the under?
Yeah, I would lean to the Baker over. It kind of goes a little bit hand in hand with my completions, but we talked about Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, but let's not forget, no Matt Milano, no Tre'Davious White. So, I think we have some playmakers on this Tampa team. It's not like devoid of playmakers. I think we think of this offense and we think of Baker Mayfield. Well, he has Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, guys like Trey Palmer, Devin Tompkins, Rashad White, Chase Edmonds is back. So, I would definitely lean towards that Baker Mayfield over. As far as Josh Allen, I just wonder how much Josh Allen's going to have to do with his arm. With Vita Vea out, I wonder if the game plan shifts a little bit. We see a little bit more of James Cook and Latavius Murray between the tackles. I wouldn't want that, frankly, because from a time of possession standpoint, that could hurt some of my overs when it comes to Tampa. But I would like them, or if I'm them, I lean on the running game a little bit just to see if I can get there with it. So I don't think I'd lean on Josh Allen overs in terms of his passing yards.
Okay, very, very good. All right, probably let me come to you because when we look at Stephon Diggs, you can go on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. There's a million people making picks. The most bet I saw today when I was just kind of flipping through was Stephon Diggs and his yardage, 86.5. That's a high number for a wide receiver. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it makes sense to me why a lot of people will be betting Stephon Diggs. He's been phenomenal this season, been phenomenal really throughout his career. Him and Josh Allen have great chemistry, has a massive target share in the offense as well. My issue or concern with Stephon Diggs is going to be the game script tonight. If Buffalo's up 10 to 17 points in the second half, I just don't have enough confidence in the passing volume really to be there. I think we're going to see a lot of James Cook. I think we're going to see a balanced attack from Buffalo. So if I'm backing a number, particularly that high, close to 90 yards, I prefer to feel like it was a more neutral game script or game environment where we could count on or bank on passing volume. With the Bills being 10-point favorites, I just don't have enough confidence to play Stephon Diggs. However, I would lean over on it.
Okay. And EC on the other side, you like Gabe Davis's longest reception, but the chat is asking about what about his catches and his yards. And for him, he's kind of a big name that doesn't have big numbers. 2.5, 39.5 is all.
Yeah, I'm playing the over on the 39.5, Coach. I lean that way. And if you want to get risky, you can go with the over 2.5. I would personally stay away. I would just play his longest reception, and then hopefully you cover the 39.5 on one play, and then we're all winners, right? So let's play that. Let's play the longest reception, 19.5, and then his over 39.5. good with that.
AB, let me come to you next. I like to call this the EC bet because it's the one that I won on a showdown last weekend. It's the over 1.5. What's the matter, EC? I'm just being a host. I'm just reading my notes. Over 1.5 for Baker is plus 123. For Allen, it's minus 174. Will either guy throw 2 tonight?
Here's the thing. You have a great chance at doing it because, we talk about what the Bills want to do, and that's run the football, control the clock. And yeah, they will. But look at their defense. Their defense has been giving up points. We saw the Patriots go down the field in 20 seconds, right? And all they needed was a field goal, and they got a touchdown. So as much as the Bills want to control the game, they haven't necessarily done it, right? So you have seen Baker, and we saw the stats there. When Baker gets in the red zone, our man is perfect at throwing it. So, yeah, man, like if you're going to take one, do it with Baker because the problem with Josh is he'll run in touchdowns, right? And that's not going to help you in terms of throwing over 1.5. So if you're going to take either of the quarterbacks, absolutely do it with Baker.
Phil, let me come to you quickly because a lot of people today, a lot of people in the chat, they're like, this is the Bills. They're going to blow them out tonight.
Sure.
The last 4 weeks, 3 weeks in particular, how hard is it when you're in that locker room, which you've been so many times, to flip the switch and go, oh, tonight we're going to play like we're supposed to play?
I think it almost goes the other way when you start to press. So you start to almost do more than you are possibly capable to do. You're putting pressure on yourself. It's when you see the Bills, especially at home, when they're free and they're flowing and they're turning people over, long kick returns. I mean, the whole thing, it just feels like an entire, it's just easy. It just looks easy. The Bills make it look easy when it has not been easy. So that's why it's been surprising to see how big of favorites they are, considering they have turned the ball over. And when you turn the football over, as we watched last game with Minnesota and San Francisco, the negative game script that we talked about is done. So if they can possess the ball, great. But if they turn the ball over, they will start to really tense up. And you cannot play effective football in the NFL when you're tense and you're worried and you're not quite feeling comfortable and confident. If you're not confident, you're not going to be productive. And I don't know if we're confident.
So when you lay 10, it's hard when you play like that. Counselor, go.
First of all, what other show has that type of insight to be able to give that type of answer? Because I guarantee you most people would think going the opposite way, right? They're not going to think of players and coaches pressing and things of that nature. So I think that's such a profound response. The one thing I want to say, because you asked AB about the over 1.5 touchdown passes for Baker Mayfield. One way you can play Tampa, and this is especially if you don't like Tampa, like you like Tampa plus 10, but you're kind of nervous about playing it. One thing or two things you can do. You can take Tampa to score over 1.5 touchdowns at around minus 130, minus 135. So now you're taking the spread out of it. You're just basically trying to lock in 2 touchdowns, whether they're through the air or through the ground. It doesn't matter. It's just over 1.5 touchdowns. It's not tied to Baker Mayfield. Another variation of that is taking the over in points for Tampa, 15.5, which is around like minus 120, minus 125, depending on where you're looking at. So these are ways to bet the Tampa Bay Buccaneers without having to worry about the spread itself. So again, always looking for different ways to attack things, whether it's the Baker Mayfield touchdowns or whether it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers covering. There's other ways to get involved and win some money.
Hashtag educate, entertain. AB, go. Then I'm coming to you, probably.
Yeah. I'll be real quick. We're talking about confidence in regards to the Bills and Josh Allen. You know what serves confidence for both Josh Allen and the entire Bills team? When you script that first drive early, run the football with Josh Allen. It's safe. Keep him up, and he is going to feel it because this man's been doing it his whole career, and the team feeds off of it. Watch on the first Bills drive how many design runs they have for Josh while it's early in the game, because that team absolutely feeds off of it, and it opens up the secondary for him to attack it.
That's great insight. No doubt about it. Proppy, let me come to you because you're kind of the tight end whisperer here at the early edge. And there's a guy that in recent times, we've seen him do a lot. I'm talking with Dalton Kincaid, but tonight over 40.5. Last week, he had 1 catch for 10 yards. How do the Bills get him back into the mix?
I'm very bullish on Dalton Kincaid, Coach. So without Dawson Knox on the field, it's going to be all Dalton Kincaid. They're also utilizing him almost as a wide receiver. They're playing a lot of 12 personnel, or they were prior to Dawson Knox landing on injured reserve. And they are definitely making it a focal point to get the ball in his hands. The issue with Kincaid is he is not running very many routes down the field. He has a very, very shallow A dot. As a result, we're seeing a lot of receptions. We're just not seeing a lot of yardage there. So I like attacking him from a volume-based approach. I do anticipate him being on the field for nearly every single Josh Allen dropback, especially without Dawson Knox on the field. So the arrow is pointing up on Dalton Kincaid. I just expect his role in the offense to continue to grow. One thing I did want to bring up really quickly, and it's I'm slightly apprehensive as far as Chris Godwin and as far as Sia's props are concerned. I do just wanted to point out there is a slim possibility, in my opinion, that if this game gets out of hand, if Buffalo has a 17-plus point lead going into the half, that the Bucs could potentially turn the game over to Kyle Trask. So just something to be conscientious of as you're watching the game. If the game gets out of hand, I do feel like there is a realistic chance that could happen.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear the last 20 seconds. Phil, go.
So just Dalton Kincaid, just to kind of he was injured in the Pac-12 late in the season last year too. So you have to understand this is a young guy. So if you're high on him now, which I am completely, even though the bad statistics from week to week are not consistent, he's getting healthier. He's now going to be the feature tight end. So it might not be this week, but it could be the following week or the following week. But I've seen this guy play live, and I'm really high on him as well.
Dalton Kincaid, ladies and gentlemen, Dalton Kincaid. All right, we are past the top of the hour. Does anybody have anything else they have to get in before we move on? Or is everybody?
Yeah, if Kyle Trask comes in this game, the Bucs are in serious trouble.
That's what I was thinking too. That better not happen. Damn it, that better not happen. All right. If you are new to our brand, this is the fun portion of the program. Now, Hef, ironically enough, in the chat says, we're getting low on time, Coach Phil. Please dunk on EC at least once tonight.
Hey, buddy, I got you, bud. I got you. I always give the people what they want.
All right. So, again, if you're new, this is where we pick the first touchdown of the game to be scored. And if you get in, you get into the club. You get a gem right next to your name. If you want to participate, put it into the chat, plus 1,000 or higher. Now, we have two guys that have been on absolute fire. I feel like, AB, you're getting a new gem every single week at some point. So let's throw up the screen. And Sia was the first one to win 3 times this year. So he's got 3 next to his name. How this is plus 1,800 is beyond me. And I got my pick in first. Sia, you're up.
Yeah, anytime you're going with a heavy dog, you're going to get inflated odds with the first touchdown score. So let me go ahead and take what I think is going to be the best option for Baker Mayfield on the field tonight. And that's not Mike Evans. It's not K. Dotton. It's not Trey Palmer. It's going to be Chris Godwin in the middle of the field, that part of the field that's kind of vacated by Matt Milano, Tre'Davious White, short area targets, reliable targets, up the seam. Chris Godwin's your first touchdown score, plus 1,800.
I was picking up a friend of mine's little kid at daycare today, and I walked in, and little Johnny, he's only like 4 years old. He goes, Coach, did AB lose this? And he handed me an entire box of chalk. It was crazy. It was really, really crazy. But AB, you're up next.
Hey, well, let me do this. Hey, little Johnny, I know you're watching. Look, Gabe Davis. All right, we're calling him the remote control because the defense loses him, dude. They can't find this guy because you're looking at Josh, you're looking at Stephon, and there's Gabe right in the end zone, and that's exactly how this is going down tonight. So I just hit on Monday Night Football. I've already gone back-to-back once this year. That's what we do at this program. We hang banners around here. So we're going to do it again tonight, coming for that 4th gym. And look, EC, I'm sorry. We're just going to have to move you down here so I can just fit in more diamonds. I'm sorry, man. You know what? I should have let Coach Phil hit that one on you there and give you a shot.
Well, we don't have to worry. He's not going to get any anytime soon, so we're good.
You've heard that a lot in your life.
There we go.
We got to move on. Proppy, you're up next. Who do you like?
I don't know how to follow that up, gentlemen, but I am going to go Mike Evans. 4 receiving touchdowns this season. Certainly just vertical, playing down the field. We know Baker likes to chuck it, so yeah, give me Mike Evans here, plus 1,200.
Oh, my goodness. And I just have one little lonely gem next to my name. but at least I have one. Know what I'm saying, boys? Know what I'm saying? I'm going to go K-Dot. I am sick and tired of watching the tight ends. We've cashed with George Kittle this year, all these tight ends, and I don't pick them. I'm giving you a good price. I'm giving you a good number, plus 1,800. I do believe the Bucs strike first. The Bills will not flip the switch tonight. K-Dot gets me my second one. Now, where do we go? You know what, AB? You won on Monday night. You get to choose again. Who gets to go next?
Yeah, I want Coach Phil going last because I love the way he brings it. So, EC, you're up first, buddy.
Well, AB, there are only two things that are worse than my 0 for 16 record of picking gems. My dating life is 1, and Coach Phil's 0 for 23 is 2. Tonight, we get on the board, and we make it 1 for 17 back. Going Josh Allen, yes, I'm taking the chalk. I'm even more chalky than you, AB, at plus 1,000. So Josh Allen has 4 rushing touchdowns this year, 8 total last year. Of those 12 touchdowns, 8 of them have come from inside the 5-yard line. I'm going to say Josh Allen, little play action to Latavius Murray, goes right around left end, walks in for the touchdown. I get a gem, and Phil is still scoreless.
Yes.
Phil, floor is yours.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, so the coach, they call you, interesting, because usually the coach rules would hand out some gear to his other team members. So it'd be nice for us to do it, but no problem. I appreciate that. So instead I wear my C and the Jad here and try to bring this, because I got to copy this guy. I have to do everything he does. I can't copy the beautiful Mediterranean hair that he has or the legal degree or anything like that, but I'm going to copy his picks. I'm going to try to get in there. AB, you look like Bruce Wayne when they threw him down the pit down into the desert by Bane. Well, I don't want to talk to you right now. I know that flannel on. EC, go get your pick out of one of those Judy Blume books that you have over there in your bookcase. All right. I don't know what you're doing, but Proppy, I love you, and I'm not going to bet against you. You know I love it, Dalton Kincaid. So you've escaped my sniper glaze again. But I'm just telling you right now, EC, if I get in before you, there will be some consequences.
I will not be here for the next show or the show after that or the show after that if that happens.
Raise your hand if you want to see that happen. Who wants to see that happen? Thank you, Sia. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, Sia, look, Coach Phil, you're right. Look, the top button,
you guys.
Look, dude, it's a lifestyle. I like it. There we go.
Yeah,
It's
you
a
get smarter when you
lifestyle.
put the top button on, automatic.
Oh my goodness.
It wouldn't help EC. He would still look this.
No, make no difference here. Yeah.
You two are turning into bitter rivals. By the way, Sia, Virginia Tech 10-0 right now, and inside the red zone again. Your pick's looking pretty nice, kid. Pretty nice.
Yeah, it's a nice rebound. Sunday was a pretty below average day for me, but I haven't lost a bet since. That would be 5 in a row. Hopefully we can pick up 2 here for 7 in a row. We'll see.
There's no doubt, and that's exactly where we are. It is 9 after. We've only got a couple of minutes, and a lot of people dropped in at the top of the hour. So we will rip through our best bets, one line for each one. Counselor, start us off.
Baker Mayfield over 21.5 completions just because of the game script and the nature of the Bills defense, their pass rush, and they're being injured on the back end like that one. And Trey Palmer over 16.5 receiving yards. I think he's going to get a long target. That's all he needs to do.
Japan says we'll be back in baseball season, and EC will still be dressed to go to the club. Damn it. EC, give me your 2 plays.
All right. Mike Evans over 58.5 receiving yards. The Bills have surrendered 5 receivers over 60 yards in the last 3 weeks. I think 2 of them get over tonight, Godwin and Mike Evans. So let's hit that. Gabe Davis over 19.5 longest reception. Done this in 5 of 7 games this season.
And one name we didn't even talk about on the show, Rashad White, under 40.5 rush yards for the Maestro, but the sniper likes his catch prop over 3.5 catches plus 105. You see those 2 on the bottom. AB, talk to me.
Yes, sir. All right, we're going over 2.5 turnovers for the game. That's for the Bucs and the Bills. Interceptions, fumbles, they all count. And buckets. Tonight is the test. All right. You can't be afraid, son. You have to get out there and be a little dumb and aggressive and make these plays. Also, Josh Allen, he's running the ball tonight. Tuck and run, big dog. Let's go.
Wow. And Buckets has been in the chat. You just hit him right between the eyes. Proppy, 3 big ones. What are they?
Yeah, let's go. Josh Allen under 33.5 passing attempts. I just don't see a lot of passing volume with the Bills being nearly double-digit favorites. Then we're going to go James Cook to lead all players in rushing yards in this game. This pairs nicely with the Allen under, in my opinion. And yeah, no Vita Vea for Tampa Bay. I think James Cook could have a big game on the ground. And last but not least, Chris Godwin over 55.5 receiving yards. I do think he and Mike Evans will see a lot of work tonight and have some negative game script that will benefit both of them.
All right, very, very good. Love all those plays. And we like to, in every one of our primetime shows, asking my guys, what's the number one most important thing? Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. Write it down. Counselor, start us off.
We find out tonight if the Bills season, at least the last few weeks of it, was a blip on the radar or if they're just not a very good team. I'm leaning towards they're just not a very good team, but we'll find out tonight.
All right, Proppy.
I want to see the James Cook show. I think this guy should be the featured back. They're kind of capping him around 12 to 15 touches per game. He just continues to make big plays, chunk yardage, both as a receiver and a running back. I want to see his role grow in the offense and hopefully handle lead back duties for the remainder of the season.
AB.
Yep, I want to see if the Bills mirror what the Eagles do in the first quarter of games, i.e. you take Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, you run him, see what the defense is going to do, and then you throw deep, see what the defense is going to do. They're going to have to pick one, and usually, if you're good enough, you can make them pay. So I want to see if they do that tonight.
Enlighten me, EC.
Boy, Coach, that's tough for me to actually enlighten anybody. Let me say this. This game, to me, has the feeling of a backdoor cover tonight. And by the way, the one sad thing that I read in the chat, my mom likes Coach Phil more than she likes me. What a shame.
Wow. Coach Phil, not the first time you've heard that, I'm assuming.
It isn't, but
Bring us home, kid. Bring us home.
I'm along the lines of Sia as far as looking at this to find out how good this Bills team. I lean more that the Bills are a better football team than he gives them credit for. But if they cannot get it done at home tonight, it will really start. I would lean more towards Sia if that happens. If they can't get it done tonight, they may just be an average football team. But my gut tells me they're better than what they're showing.
Well, I said this week in one of my mini segments on HQ, I said they no longer are thinking about the number one seed. They're thinking about how do we get to the playoffs, period. And oh, by the way, in my little segment, early edge against pick 6, I was 4-1 last week. What's my pick for tonight? Well, if you watch me on HQ today, you know it's the Bucs plus the 9.5. I'm red hot, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you need to know. Also this, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know. I'm fired up. What that is. You got your marching orders. Let's take all these Thursday night tickets straight to the pay window. VTech up 13. For my entire crew, love more. Counselor, Proppy, AB, EC, my man, Coach Phil. Snake always is lurking. I'm simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you. Enjoy the game tonight. Pay it forward. Be positive so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about. Even at night on prime time, early edge. Good luck.